What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Monday night's late night agenda. I hope that you all had a lovely weekend. I know Monday can be a bit of a depressing day for everybody. Start of the work week, no weekend for 5 days to come, and hopefully I can banish those Monday blues. No, not those blues, not the Everton blues that we're all thinking about. They're doing a great job of banishing themselves from the Premier League. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Low hanging fruit. I had to take a shot. You wouldn't respect me if I didn't take the cheap shot. But look, we are here today to talk about some news that was published around Mohamed Salah and his future, or maybe a lack of it, at the football club. I want to know your thoughts on the video when you've watched it. Let me know in the comment section. Of course, please do hit that subscribe button. We are less than 100 now away from 160,000 subscribers. So let's get straight into it then, shall we? When I made the video yesterday speaking about Salah's situation and asking for an honest appraisal of it, I didn't think I'd be coming back on today to speak about a story that suggests that Jurgen Klopp will be looking to sell Mohamed Salah, and that is exactly what Calcio Mercato have come out with. So they are an Italian publication, and there's been two parts of this today. Part one is that they suggest that Liverpool would be willing to sell Mohamed Salah, particularly Jurgen Klopp would be willing to sell Mohamed Salah in the summer for a fee of around 70 million quid, and it goes on to suggest that Mohamed Salah and the numbers that he's putting up are not impressing Jurgen Klopp, and that he may want a change, which is quite a come down and a climb down from the fight that the club had to get Mohamed Salah this new contract approved. So I don't know if Calcio Mercato have some information that you and I don't have, or if this is another one for Bullshit Island, but it is an intriguing conversation. So let's look at the Mohamed Salah situation right now and look at it from the context of, well, we know that he's met with the guy who runs PSG. That isn't even up for debate. We've seen those photos. We heard they were just friends having a meal. But again, if Calcio Mercato are pushing this, that maybe Jurgen Klopp isn't happy with Salah's performances, I don't know. Is there something to it? Because it didn't stop there. They went on a bit further to say that Liverpool want to reinvest that money, and they want to go in and they want to buy Federico Chiesa from Juventus, the much troubled Juventus, who are currently staring in the barrel of 15 points deduction in Serie A. That puts them down to, I think they're in 9th place now. So maybe they think it's time to strike for Federico Chiesa. Again, I don't know. I don't have any information on this story, so I don't know if Calcio Mercato are looking for clicks or if there's some truth to it. But it doesn't take much to start to join dots to see that there is rhyme or reason as to why it may be plausible. As I've said, we've seen Mohamed Salah and his agent meet with the guy who runs PSG. So to hear that PSG may be interested in buying him, that doesn't really surprise me. The surprising part for me in all of this is the Jurgen Klopp being unhappy with Mohamed Salah, because we know how much Klopp values Mohamed Salah. We know how much Klopp fought to keep him at the club. But we also know, again, another added twist to this, that Klopp has spoken about the fact that he isn't going to be too loyal to people, that he does read the comments and he does understand that Liverpool fans feel like he's too loyal to certain players. I didn't ever think that Mohamed Salah may be one of those players, but here we are today in a situation where a publication has put it out there. So what I want to know straight away is, one, do you believe the link to PSG, and what would be your number if you were to sell Mohamed Salah? And two, straight up, do you want to sell Mohamed Salah? Do you think that there's any truth to this story? I genuinely don't know what to believe, because the club right now is in such a mad place with so much change looking like it's on the horizon that I don't know. But then again, that's what gives this story, I suppose, that interesting twist to it, is that there are easy ways to make it a plausible situation, but there are also, very easy ways to go, nah, it's just more media nonsense, it's more spoofery. So I'm unsure. But let me say one thing. I'm not against Liverpool going and buying Federico Chiesa. For the longest time, many of us have spoke about how he'd be perfect in a Jurgen Klopp and in a Liverpool system. So the Federico Chiesa part of it, I'm very happy with. He's come back from a long-term injury, so that interest would be great. But would I be willing to sacrifice Mohamed Salah for Federico Chiesa for a fee of 70 million? I probably want a bit more, to be honest with you. I know Mo is, heading for 30, 31. So, Are his best years his most explosive years behind him? Well, yes, actually. My answer to that would be I think they are. Specifically the more explosive parts of his game, which is why I spoke yesterday about the idea of maybe converting him to an out-and-out striker. So I genuinely don't know where to go with this, my friends, at this moment in time, whether it's absolute nonsense or whether maybe there is some underlying truth to it. So I'm hoping that over the next day or two we see some British-based journalists either absolutely put this to bed or maybe we get a bit more information on it. I do not know. That isn't the only possible outgoings that I'm going to speak about today. There's two more. So we know that Nat Phillips is most likely available to be sold in this market. That's why Liverpool recalled Reece Williams from his loan spell. But there's another conversation that we had, and it's a really awkward one, and that is about Caoimhín Kelleher, because Caoimhín Kelleher has apparently said to the club that he wants more game time. That's natural for a young player, particularly a young goalkeeper, where your opportunities are extremely limited. So the idea of having to sell Caoimhín it's a tough one, because I do understand both sides of it. I do understand that he wants to go and play. So I guess I'm kind of trying to figure out what value there would be in Kelleher. And we discussed it in our Discord group yesterday, and I think the general consensus was somewhere between 15 and 22.5 million, depending on a potential buyback clause. So for instance, if Liverpool put in a buyback clause that they could activate within 2 or 3 years, let's say, I think the club would probably accept a slightly lower fee, knowing that they have that option to recall Kelleher if Alisson's form drop off a cliff, or if Kelleher turns out to be an absolute superstar. So what do you think? Let me know in the comment section. For me, I would rather take the lower initial fee with that potential buyback clause, but I am absolutely open to the possibility that I'm biased because he's Irish and he's a goalkeeper, and I'd like an Irish goalkeeper at Liverpool in some way, shape or form, even if it is to be a backup to Alisson. So I want to know your take on it and your thoughts on it as well. Also, what do you value Nat Phillips as? And one thing I do and can say for certain from my perspective is that Liverpool do, if they do sell Nat Phillips, we need to bring in another centre-back next summer. And I'm not talking about a centre-back that can be competing for the fourth choice. I think we need to bring somebody in who is a clear number 3 behind Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate, in my opinion. And I would have probably pushed for a centre-back anyway. So if we move on Nat Phillips, I think the need for that only grows. I'm just looking through my notes here. There's another thing talking about Jude Bellingham, but I don't want to go down through Jude Bellingham again with you guys. You're probably sick to death of that one. So I guess to just summarise, a couple of questions for the video. Would you sell Mohamed Salah? Do you think there's any truth to the story? Would you like Federico Chiesa? And how much would a under contract Mohamed Salah be worth in this current climate? Certainly, I do believe the PSG part. Like, I do believe if Liverpool turned around and said that they were willing to sell Mohamed Salah, that PSG would be there at the front of the queue. I've got absolutely no doubts about that being true. It's just the Jurgen Klopp part, I guess, we're unsure of. I had this conversation with Connor, and he was very much in the mindset of he would want more than 70 million to consider it. So it's over to you. Let me know what you guys think, as always, in the comment section. So that is it from me today. I may be back later on tonight with another video, so do keep an eye out just in case. But if I do not see it, I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Appreciate your time and your input as always, my friends. Over to you. Let me know in the comment section. Much love. Bye bye.